Hello, and welcome back. Today we're diving into the wonderful world of beekeeping. Beekeeping is an enriching hobby that connects you deeply to nature, providing both peace and purpose. For many, the joy comes from a genuine love and respect for bees and the natural world, which can be a source of optimism in a world that sometimes feels overwhelming. Whether you're an experienced beekeeper or just starting out, it's a journey of continuous learning. Our community is full of passionate people, from those who have been doing it for 7 years to those just getting started, all sharing information to help one another learn and succeed. A thrifty and sustainable approach to starting. One of the first challenges many beekeepers face is the sadness of seeing a colony die. Unfortunately, this has become a common reality. When this happens, it's crucial to open the hive quickly to salvage the remaining honey and wax before other animals get to it. The good news is that even if a colony died from a virus transmitted by a mite, the honey is still completely safe for human consumption. A good practice is to always leave more honey than you think the bees will need for winter, because you can always harvest any surplus in the spring. A fantastic, thrifty way to start your beekeeping journey is to avoid buying bees altogether. Instead, you can catch a local, wild swarm. In the spring, swarms are flying around looking for a new home. If you provide a small box, a swarm is very likely to move in. This not only saves you money, but also gives you resilient bees that are well adapted to your local climate and more resistant to diseases and pests. When preparing a box to attract a swarm, an important element is the use of a swarm lure. Swarms are not attracted to honey, but to a cavity that they can move into. Scout bees will mark a promising location with a scent similar to lemongrass oil. By putting a slow-release lemongrass oil lure in your bait hive, you can make the box smell as if many scouts have already approved it, which increases your chances of catching a swarm. While some old-timers suggest burning the inside of a hive to attract swarms, a much safer and equally effective method is using a lemongrass oil lure, or Old Clean Comb. For a swarm trap, make sure the box is elevated at least 10 feet in a highly visible location to protect the bees from predators. Also, giving each hive a unique design with paint, or even a piece of duct tape helps bees find their own home, which keeps them healthier. The advantages of horizontal hives. For beekeeping to be truly sustainable and accessible, it's important to consider different hive models. Horizontal hives are a great option, especially for those with physical limitations. One of our viewers, who has a degenerative disc disorder, thought they couldn't keep bees because they couldn't lift heavy boxes, but a horizontal hive made it possible. This type of hive requires no heavy lifting, as you only need to lift one frame at a time. This is also a huge benefit for beekeepers who have been doing it for years and are feeling the physical strain of lifting heavy boxes. Horizontal hives offer a more natural beekeeping approach. You can build a horizontal hive out of thick lumber, which provides double the insulation of a conventional hive and better protects the bees from the cold. This kind of insulation is crucial because bees in nature live in thick-walled cavities like tree hollows. The design of the horizontal hive also allows for a more hands-off approach. You can check on the brood without disturbing the entire hive, and the bees also segregate honey from the brood horizontally, making it easier to harvest honey without touching the brood chamber. This less intrusive approach is something many people find very appealing. Some horizontal hives, like the European lay-in style, are more aligned with how bees live in nature. This natural approach leads to healthier bees, and as research has shown, can even result in a greater honey yield. Another great feature of some horizontal hives is the 3 separate entrances. This allows you to make easy splits, steer the brood nest by opening and closing different entrances, and cycle out old comb as the brood nest shifts, keeping your hive healthy without disturbing the brood. Essential tips for fall and winter. First tip, harvest late for the best honey. Contrary to conventional wisdom, we find that harvesting honey late in the season, around mid-October, is the most bee-friendly approach. It's better for the bees. By waiting, you ensure the bees have been well fed all summer and have enough food to get through the winter without needing sugar syrup. The honey is higher quality. Just like a good wine, honey ripens and improves the longer it stays in the hive. Bees add enzymes to the nectar, making the process more complete over time. It's easier for you. The bee population is naturally smaller in the fall, so there's less disturbance for them and a more pleasant experience for the beekeeper. Second tip, essential winterizing steps for your hive. A great advantage of a late-season visit is that you can handle both honey harvest and winterizing in one visit, minimizing disturbance. Practice natural pest management. A strong, healthy colony can coexist with pests like small hive beetles and varroa mites. Focus on building a strong hive immunity rather than trying to eliminate every pest. Leave ample food reserves. A rule of thumb is to leave anywhere from 30 to 50 pounds of honey for a horizontal hive, depending on your climate. You can estimate this by knowing that a full Langstroth frame holds about 8 to 9 pounds of honey. Choose the right frames. The ideal frame for wintering has a ribbon of honey on top and empty cells below, where bees can cluster and move upward as they eat. Ensure proper ventilation and insulation. Use a divider board with a gap at the bottom and make sure the roof vents are open to allow moist air to escape and prevent mold. For insulation, use a pillow stuffed with natural wool on top of the frames. Avoid styrofoam because it traps moisture. Instead, consider using dog hair from a groomer or old wool clothing. Third tip, beekeeping hacks from our community. Honey extractor hack. Bees build their cells at a slight upward angle. When using a clockwise spinning extractor, position the frame with the top to the right to make the honey fly out much more easily, reducing spinning time. Bee sting remedy: scrape the stinger out instead of pinching it, and then apply a paste made from a chewed plantain leaf to reduce pain and itching. Prevent robbing. When harvesting, always place honey frames in a sealed container immediately. The smell of exposed honey can attract bees from other hives, who will come to steal it. A step-by-step guide to getting started. So you're ready to take the plunge and start your own apiary. Here's a simple rundown of how to start, based on a recent hive splitting and transfer we did. 1. Splitting your hive. A strong colony can easily be split into 2 or even 3 parts, which is a great way to grow your apiary without buying new bees. When splitting a horizontal hive, make sure both sides of the divider board have frames with eggs or queen cells. Leave the bees alone for about 4 weeks. After that, if you find new brood on both sides, you know you have 2 successful colonies with new laying queens. 2. Choosing and setting up your new hive. You can build a new horizontal hive yourself. When building a stand for your hive, using rot-resistant wood like red cedar is a great idea because it won't contaminate your honey like treated lumber can. A good stand should also be perfectly level from left to right and slightly tilted forward to help shed rainwater away from the entrance. 3. The transfer process. Once your new hive is ready, the transfer itself is a straightforward process. If your old frames and new frames are different sizes, you'll need to cut the old comb to fit into the new frames. During the transfer, you can choose to either find and isolate the queen for her safety, or simply transfer all the frames with brood, and she will go along for the ride. Once the frames are in the new hive, all the bees will be drawn to the new location by the scent of the queen and the brood. Hive health and inspection. When inspecting the hive, remember to be gentle and mindful. Bees react to abrupt movements, loud noises, and even our breath. Keeping your movements slow and deliberate, avoiding breathing directly on them, and not talking with your face close to the hive can all help keep the bees calm. The color of your clothing can also make a difference. Bees have evolved to see bears and skunks, which are often dark colors. Wearing lighter, non-threatening colors like blue can help minimize their defensive response. If you're starting with a new swarm, a smart strategy is to not fill the entire box with frames at once. A small colony can have a hard time controlling the temperature and keeping a large box clean. Instead, use a piece of plywood as a divider to create a smaller space for them. As the colony grows, you can gradually move the divider to give them more room. This helps them manage their space more effectively and allows the colony to flourish. Another thing to keep an eye out for is cross-combing. This happens when bees build their comb in a way that attaches to the next frame, making it difficult to remove a single frame without a lot of disturbance. To prevent this, it's recommended to install a strip of foundation at the top of each frame. If you do end up with cross-combing, don't try to fix it in the middle of the season, as you could break the comb and cause a honey mess, or even injure the queen. It's best to wait until late autumn or early spring when there are fewer bees and the hive is less active. When inspecting for brood, look for a nice, solid pattern of sealed cells. A healthy brood pattern looks like a solid patch, not sporadic or mosaic-like, which could indicate a problem. You should also see white grubs at the bottom of the cells, floating in royal jelly. This is a sign of a healthy, actively laying queen. It's a good idea to learn how to recognize signs of brood disease, such as foul brood, which smells rotten and has deformed-looking larvae. The rewards of beekeeping. Beekeeping also offers some unique and delicious rewards. Have you ever wondered about bee bread? Bee bread is a natural probiotic that bees make by fermenting pollen with enzymes and bacteria. 1 teaspoon can contain pollen from 20,000 flowers, and while it's not a medical cure, some people believe that eating local honey and bee bread can help with allergies. It's also a good source of nutrients. However, this is only safe to consume if your hive is chemical-free. The unfortunate reality is that even in a chemical-free hive, bee products can still have pesticide residues from flowers the bees have visited. This highlights how beekeeping can show us the importance of protecting our environment. Beekeeping is about more than just honey or a livelihood. It's about protecting the landscape and keeping it ecologically sound. Our community is full of people who are sharing information to help others learn and succeed. You can also find free plans for building your own swarm traps and horizontal hives on the internet. This allows you to get into beekeeping for just the cost of materials, which is truly in the spirit of a sustainable, community-minded approach. We're all about living a self-sustainable life, and we love sharing this information. We've covered a lot of ground today. These tips will help you manage your bees with respect and wisdom. A couple from Southern California recently shared that our videos brought them a happiness that is desperately needed, and that our channel is truly greater than the sum of its parts. We are so grateful to be a part of this amazing community. Until next time, let's keep learning and growing together.